Hi everyone, this is Yana Smakula and thank you so much for joining me today. A few weeks ago, I did a quick poll on my YouTube channel asking you which of my video series you liked best. I enjoyed looking at the poll results, but what I loved the most was reading your comments, and I wanted to thank you for taking the time to share your feedback. Anyhow, many of you have mentioned how much you like my videos where I take a small stamp or a set of small stamps and create various stamped backgrounds or patterns for my cards. I, believe it or not, actually thought I have shared this way too many times, and I was trying to steer clear of videos showing how to stamp backgrounds as I felt I've shared just too many of those. But I'm so happy to read your feedback because really, I do love stamping backgrounds using individual images. So in today's video, I'm sharing 3 card ideas showing how to stamp a background using images from just one stamp set. And I also have a bonus card idea to share at the end of the video, so 4 cards in total today. This video is a part of Simon Says Stamp Block Hop, and I'll talk more about the hop in a little bit. So the stamp set I'm using today is Paws-Itivity from Simon Says Stamp. Now, this stamp set is not something that I would be immediately drawn to when thinking of various images to stamp a background, but I wanted to challenge myself and see how I could use these possum designs to stamp some fun cards. So here we go. Stamped background idea number 1, random and out of order. This is probably one of my most used ways to stamp a background, and this method works for all sorts of images. Small images, big, medium, tiny, solid, and outline. I picked 3 colors of ink and just one solid stamp, the negative paw print in a circle. The ink colors were winter sky, lake shores, and barely beige, so 2 blue and a very pale beige or gray color. Substitute the blue with another color and you have loads of color options for this background. I didn't actually film how I stamped this background. I started with one color, stamped some images randomly, switched to the next color, stamped some more images randomly, and so on. I wish I had filmed the process, but it is very, very simple to stamp. The next kind of background pattern I like to stamp is by using the help of the grid lines on my cutting mat. This particular paw print image is a bit smaller than 1 inch in diameter, so I used a 1-inch grid on my mat to help me space out the stamped images and create a beautiful, even pattern. Now, this particular pattern is not going to be very even, but I will stamp images going in rows across my panel. The panel is about 5.5 inches tall, so I have 5 rows of images stamped in various colors of ink. I decided to use Audrey Blue, Orange Slush, Sunshine, and Hollyhock here. Of course, other colors can be used just as well. Now, because of the nature of the ink that I'm using today, this is ink by Simon Says Stamp, I'm going to try to switch in between the different colors of ink as little as possible. This particular ink is fantastic in quality, but it stains clear stamps, so it's a little bit hard to clean off. To make sure I'm not cleaning the ink off of my stamp after every impression, I'm going to stamp as many images in one color as I can before moving to the next color and so on. I'm lazy when it comes to stamp cleaning and masking, so I do anything I can to avoid that. I do, however, use Hero Art's Ultra Clean Spray Cleaner and Lawn Fawn Stamp Chamois to clean my stamps whenever I really need to, and these 2 products are able to clean pretty much any ink perfectly. So here I'm using grid lines off my cutting mat to help me stamp my images going on a straight line, forming 5 lines on this panel. I don't actually want them to be perfectly straight. I want them a little bit wonky, but I still want this piece to maintain linear look to it. I'm also rotating this image, the paw print, and I'm having the paw face different directions. If I have it facing one direction every time on the background will look boring, I think. So rotating the image and using different ink colors helps to keep it dynamic. Now, I have trouble coming up with great color combo ideas for my cards, so I have a board on Pinterest where I save images that I find inspiring in terms of color combos. Simon has also a fantastic series called Color Coordinates with Sherry, where Sherry Carroll shares project ideas and color combo ideas with Simon inks, the exact inks that I'm using today. And I think I need to start writing down those color combo ideas because she always has the most fantastic combinations. Okay, here's what this pattern now looks. I like it a lot, but I feel like it's lacking something. So to spice it up, I'm going to do some stamping, a second layer of stamping in a way. There's this fun nose and whiskers stamp in the Paws-Itivity stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it in black ink, overlapping some of the images. And this will create the illusion of a critter being right there on my card. I like these black accents a lot, so I decided to add more black, but using a different image this time, a round negative ampersand, and I'm stamping it in the exact same way, overlapping the stamped paws. One last thing I want to add to this pattern is a light gray heart. This is going to be very subtle and barely visible, but I think it adds a really nice touch to this pattern. And once again, the trick here is to overlap this image with other images. You don't want it floating up in the air. And ta-da! This fun background is done. I trimmed it to 5 1/4 by 4 inches and foam mounted onto an A2 card base. I also added stamped hugs and whiskery kisses sentiment, and it is popped up on the card with the help of foam adhesive. I used a coordinating die to die cut the ampersand out into a little perfect circle. Here's that first random and out of order background idea with the blue stamped paws. I decided I wanted to add glossy accents onto the stamped noses to add some detail to these cards, so I went ahead and did that. Moving on to the third stamped background idea, this one is also using the grid lines off my cutting mat to help space the images out evenly. I decided to combine the nose and whiskers images. There's one with a triangle-shaped nose and one with an oval-shaped nose. I decided to stamp the triangle one in blue ink and add oval nose stamped in yellow and pink, forming a pattern for this card. Now for this background, I knew right away I wanted to use googly eyes, hence the 2 eyes you see right there on the yellow nose. I knew this background would look too simple and it would need something else to make it pop, so I figured I might as well add the googly eyes, as the noses already suggest the critters on the card and the eyes wouldn't be an inappropriate addition here at all. Of course, I didn't have enough googly eyes for every image, and this I think might even be best, because had I added googly eyes to every stamped image, it might have looked too busy. So I just ended up using nearly all googly eyes that I have on hand and adding them to some of the images, and even mixed them up to make them extra funny, a small and a large eye. After I added the eyes, I decided I wanted to add some more stamping to the background, so I used the outline paw image and stamped it in a very light gray. I think this was fog ink. The googly eyes, especially the big ones, were a bit too tall, so I had to press down more than usual to make sure the stamp was touching the surface of my paper. To finish this card, I white heat embossed same hugs and whiskery kisses sentiment in white embossing powder onto black cardstock and foam mounted that onto my card. Moving on to the bonus card idea. While here I didn't stamp a full background, I did do quite a bit of stamping using just one paw image. I used 5 colors of brown ink and stamped 3 images in a row. Here I didn't use grid lines and stamped images a lot closer together. Once I had the paws stamped, I also added black stamped noses with the whiskers and finished this card off with "Can I Lend a Paw" sentiment. Be sure to visit my blog to join the blog hub, enter the giveaway, and find a full list of supplies I used to make these cards. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in a comment section below, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet done so. If you are a subscriber but are not receiving new video notifications, please check the bell icon on the homepage of my channel to get notified every time there's a new video out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!